inside. Maybe we can be friends when you're not so fragile. When you know yourself well, somewhere down the sweet line. When I do things for me, 'cause I don't wanna be a therapy, I wanna be free. So, ooh, gotta go and grab a spoon now. Ooh, make a life for myself. Ooh, I don't know what I'ma do now. Ooh, but I don't need your help. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. Don't make me just stay, do stay. I'm done being stuck. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. The last thing I will ever do for you is wish you the best of luck. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, 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 la 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 la, I know, you know, it's time you let me go. Don't call, don't follow, 'cause I'll do fine on my own. I know, you know, it's time I'll let you go. Don't call, don't follow, 'cause I'll be gone. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. Don't make me just stay, do stay. I'm done being stuck. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. The last thing I will ever do for you is wish you the best of luck. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Get out of my way, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Get out of my way.
People should expect the real me in this, and probably the me that they've never gotten to know. Certainly not in the past few years, where everything is through the lens of the media, as opposed to, hey, it's me. I'm just excited to be myself and talk and be unfiltered, and yeah, it's fun.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone today? Happy Archetypes Tuesday. Welcome to the chat, everyone. Don't forget to thumbs up, that like button, and subscribe. So I do apologize. This podcast was meant to be at 5 p.m. today, because obviously the England and Wales game is about to start. But I just had to push it back and push it back and push it back because, number one, there was a story that just came in literally the last hour, and it was regarding a Met officer police who had some pretty interesting things to say about Harry and Meghan's security, basically confirming what all of us had known for quite some time, but I wanted to make sure that I squeezed that into the show. And then just as I'm ready to come on, guess what? Canva deletes like half of my slides, and I have to do them all again. So I do apologize because I know that I am clashing with Baron, but I did want to do the show earlier today. But let's get straight into it. Some great positives along with the negatives. And before we do start, I just have to answer the door. Okay, I'm gonna play some music for you while I answer the door. I know who that is, so no worries. There's no one strange at the door. It's not MI5 at the door. 1 minute, folks. All right, folks, let's get straight into it. Right, Invictus. Some nice updates from Invictus. I believe tickets go on sale tomorrow. So anybody who wants tickets for Invictus, get your money ready because ticket sales start tomorrow. I haven't yet decided 100% if I'm going. I'll check and see what the ticket prices are, and then based on that, I guess I'll make my decision. So look out for that. And of course, if you're following on social and also on the community tab, I will post as soon as they go live and details about that. So some nice positive updates from Invictus. Their social media is very, very active, so definitely go and check it out. Next thing before we get onto the main story, which is obviously the Archetypes finale episode. Meghan has done a surprise collaboration with, is it Kuyana and Smartworks. Now, Kuyana is a clothing / accessories brand that Meghan wears quite often. We've seen her in this brand a few times, their bags, and other apparel as well. And of course, Smartworks is the charity that she first became a patron of when she was a working royal in the United Kingdom. And she did a collaboration, I think it was with Marks and Spencer's, for Smartworks. And Smartworks, of course, is the charity that helps women get on their feet after they've got a job. They help with their interview skills, with their confidence, and also they provide them with smart looking clothes for their interviews. And I believe you can only actually get onto Smartworks if you are on some kind of benefits, job seekers allowance, universal credit. I lost my job during COVID, and I was referred to Smartworks. So I've seen their work up close and personal, and it's a very nice setup the way they've done it. If you ever get referred to Smartworks, you go in and it's basically like a massive wardrobe, and they just ask you, what's your style, what makes you feel comfortable, and they pick out some nice clothes for you. And they're actually very good quality clothes. A lot of them are designer clothes. I think I got an LK Bennett pair of shoes. I can't remember what the design of the dress was, but these are not like cheap flimsy clothes. They really do give you the best that they can give you, and it really does help with your confidence. And of course, they help you with your interview skills. So Meghan said of the collaboration, over the years, I've had the privilege of witnessing the magic of Smartworks, women's confidence and lives transformed. Smartworks invest in women so they know they can thrive in any workplace. And Kayana is a company that is by women and for women. So this feels like the perfect fit. Similar to the Smart Set collection we created many years ago for Smartworks, this collaboration will support women in the UK as they mobilise back into the workforce. I am proud to bring these two together to further our shared mission of uplifting and empowering women from all around the globe. Now, the bag can actually be purchased, and I think it's just under $200. So you do the math. 200 times 500, that's over like $100,000 worth of stash. And these are some of the other items that Meghan has worn from that brand. Yes, you can actually buy the tote from the website, and I will post that on the community tab later on. I'm assuming they probably realized that a lot of people would want the tote bag. It's their classic structured tote bag. So when I went on the website, it wasn't actually sold out. So I think they definitely made sure that they made a couple extra bags because it's not yet sold out, because that basically happens every single time that Meghan wears something from any brand. So it looks like they were prepared this time. And it's a very just beautiful, stylish, classic bag that's going to last you a very long time. And definitely something that would make you feel confident. And what I love about a lot of the projects that Meghan and Harry do, not all of them are massive, and they don't have to be. It's the little things that help. And if we all did the little things, it would translate into a bigger change. And it's it's nice to show up with something small or give something small wherever you go, as opposed to showing up with nothing, or smile on a wave here and there.
Sorry, we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes that's more than financial.
Yeah. Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
Exactly. So the company did put out a statement. I won't read the whole thing, but this was the official announcement. And bravo to any of the to Meghan, and congrats to any of the women who get one of the totes. Very, very lucky, and I wish them all the best on their job hunt. I think something like 79% of women that go through SmartWorks get hired within the first few months of working with them, or something like that. So fantastic. All right, on to the next thing. Mandana was seen with Amanda Gorman at an event. I didn't catch which event this was, but they were looking very fabulous, very chic, living the glam life, glowing and happy. So it's great to see people that have worked with Meghan doing some great things and great projects separately from Archwell. Mandana runs the I Voted organization, where they encourage people to vote. So fantastic, looking very glamorous. Also, over in Montecito, Nacho and his wife, I think her name, is it Delphine or Delphi? They were photographed for Magic Millions, and also Mike Tyndall and Zara Phillips were also photographed. Funny story, my mum didn't know that Zara was Anne's daughter. She thought that Zara was the Queen's daughter, and she thought that Zara's husband owned Zara, the shop, the fashion shop, Zara. And I was like, no, Zara is a Spanish brand. It's not a British brand. And she was like, oh, but isn't Zara owned by the royal family? I was like, no, Zara is a Spanish brand. I swear, like, nobody knows who these people are. Even I was asking my dad, can he name all of the Queen's children? And he didn't know Edward. There's actually a video going viral at the moment of like a bunch of guys, bunch of broadcasters talking about the royals, and like a lot of them were like, oh, I thought that Charles was the Queen's husband. And then someone was like, oh no, the Queen's husband died. And then the other guy was like, oh, I didn't know the Queen's husband died. I'm telling you, nobody knows who these people are. But anyway, I digress. They did the shoot, and sorry, let me just find the press release. What did it say in the press release? Give me one moment, please. Where is it now? Yes, so Magic Millions in Vogue Australia, they said, we cannot wait for the very special edition of Vogue Australia on sale next week, an incredible Magic Millions feature that we are so thrilled to share with you all. Make sure you get a copy to read about the excitement we have planned for the Star Gold Coast Magic Millions Carnival and the Pacific Fair Magic Millions Polo and Show Jumping in January. So does that mean that Zara Phillips and the Montecito Fab set will be at the same polo event? That should be interesting. Right, I'll go to your comments before we continue. Hi everybody for just joining. Sorry for all the delays, but we're here finally. Thank you so much, Chef Sandy Love, for the super sticker, much appreciated. Hey Lottie, you said, I think this is my favorite podcast of Archetypes. Yeah, it was a surprise. You know, we were all guessing Britney, Beyonce, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Meghan came in with a complete curveball. What an interesting way to end. But a fabulous way to end, actually. I thought it was a great way to end the series, but we'll get into that a little later. Um, Cinderella, you said you checked the kind of site yesterday. They have some very nice items. They do. In Commonwealth, you said you volunteered at a place like SmartWorks. Clothes came from designer and makeup was from Bobby Brown. Love dressing the young adults. And it really does make them feel confident, doesn't it? Sharon, and whenever you play that video of William and Kate, a little smiley here and there, it cracks me up every time. Oh, it never gets old. It never gets old. My favorite video. All right, that is that. Next thing. Oh, Omid is letting us know just how much money Finding Freedom made him. He said that he got rid of all his Balenciaga this weekend. He said, "I love that brand, but no apology can ever be enough for what they let happen. Cancelled for good." I actually covered the Balenciaga story in one of the previous podcasts. Yes, they did have very inappropriate ads, a lot of them with both covert and overt messaging regarding to inappropriate things with children. And I don't really follow a lot of the high end designers that much anymore. I like the mid high end indies. I think they're a lot more creative nowadays than mainstream top designers. But this is like some of the stuff that Balenciaga has had out in the past. Basically, like trolling the working class. You had one which looks like a Tesco's bag. Tesco's being the supermarket shop here in the UK, where most working class people go and shop. And that Balenciaga bag probably cost like what, £500. They also had the Ghana Must Go bag, which has its own history, and I just find quite insulting that actually got the Ghana Must Go bag got its name during the deportation of West African migrants from Nigeria. And they had to put their, a lot of their belongings in these bags because they're very, very sturdy. And then obviously the high vis jacket, basically like trolling everyone, poor people, and using children in inappropriate ways. So yes, Balenciaga is cancelled. Shout out to everybody who could actually afford Balenciaga, who are able to cancel Balenciaga. And apparently Omid is one of those people. My man got paid from Finding Freedom. In other news, the floor of Westminster Hall is now damaged because of all the people who came to mourn the Queen. So the sheer number of mourners who entered the Westminster Hall to pay their respects to the Queen has now meant the floor of the building has now been damaged. 250,000 people, including my mum and my sister, queued for hours through London in September, ending up in Westminster Hall where the Queen was lying in state. The figures were seen as remarkable testimony to the popularity of the late monarch who died on September the 8th. But they also had another unexpected impact on the 180-year-old York stone floor. A House of Lords spokesman said, as a consequence of the high level of continuous footfall throughout Westminster Hall during the lying in state, some delamination to the floor has occurred. It has exposed some of the bare stone that will blend in with the surrounding areas over time. This does not present a structural risk. The delamination means the colouring is different to the stone around it. So all of that hoo-ha, and then the floor got damaged. To your comments. God, it feels like almost feels like such a long time ago. Like we were all on this podcast listening to the announcement, had people running around like headless chickens trying to figure out what was going on. Joyce, Omid got financial freedom from that book. That's why he's able to speak his mind now. Omid's cool. He did message me once. He's cool. We like Omid here. Sharon, she should have had her husband to the conversation, Shutter Island and the UK press, who always had to put them on suicide watch because Sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. Sorry. Wendy, that brand is now classless. Yes, I wouldn't touch that brand if you paid me now. Himi fan, a lot of people had to approve the Balenciaga ads. Apparently, the woman who set up the ads has more problematic photos on her Insta, which are now deleted. Yes, I saw a picture. Are you talking about the woman who had a busted up face and was holding the teddy bear? But it looked like somebody hadn't actually busted up her face, like she'd done her makeup like that herself. Is that the one that you're talking about? I did see something really creepy looking. Yes, Wendy, and who is paying for the repairs now? It's the taxpayer as usual, of course. After standing in the line forever. Okay, so that's that. The other twosome are now going over to Boston, I think, tomorrow. I want to know why anybody in the palace decided that it would be a good idea to send these two, having not had them go to America for what, coming close to a decade, and send them to Boston, where, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not where the revolution pretty much started? Right? Why would they have them there of all the places? It does not make sense to me. I think that the palace are setting these two up to fail. But as someone tweeted, there are lots of S and bondage shops in Boston, so plenty of places for William to get some souvenirs before he goes back home. And yeah, it's left to be seen what's gonna go down with this tour. I'm not planning on following it at all, but if anything dramatic or funny happens, I will be on standby to report about that, because the last tour was all types of, oh my goodness, what is going on here? You're saying, Sharpie, you said the notification thing never works for me. Sometimes you've got to unsubscribe and then resubscribe again and see if that works. But that's an issue across YouTube, to be honest. Sometimes notifications don't work. We'll check your actual notification settings. Jessica, more and more the palace aides are showing their ignorance. Yes. Like, I don't get it. Do they think that they're going to be able to force feed this down people's throats? Joyce, the UK press has been hyping up this Boston trip. The US will not treat them badly, but if anything goes wrong with that tour, they're going to look bad. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be very, very difficult for them to mess this up. So if they mess this up, then that just tells you there's no hope for them whatsoever. Okay, moving on. Obviously, one of the reasons that they are going over to the US is for the Earthworm Prize. And this popped up on my Twitter feed. Somebody noted that there was an article about the Earthshot Prize. This Earthshot Prize winning company is saving our coral reefs, but notes that it is paid content. So I'm interested to know, if this is paid content, who paid for this article to get boosted? Is this coming out of the sovereign grants, therefore the communications budget of the palace? Is it coming out of the, Earthshot's marketing budget? But this is meant to be the biggest prize, a prize of the century. So why would they need to boost content? But I'd like to know who's paying for that. Tamiko, you said the implication and impact of the Boston Tea Party was enormous, ultimately leading to the sparking of the American Revolution, which began in Massachusetts on April 9th, 1775. Yes. And so why would they go there first? Just seems very odd. Lucy, Emerald Derrick is blocked. All right, I'm going to take a note of that and make sure that I unblock her. Sorry about that, Emerald. I'll take care of that after the show. Joan, we can treat them badly by ignoring them. That will hurt just as well, yes. That is true. All right. Next thing, Barbados. Interesting news coming out of Barbados. AJ Plus reported that Barbados plans to sue a British PM whose family ran and still owns a major former slave plantation for reparations. An estimated 30,000 enslaved people died on plantations owned by Richard Drack's ancestors. The family was paid compensation when slavery ended and is worth over 180 million. When the UK abolished slavery in the 19th century, it paid out reparations, not to former enslaved people, but to former slave owners. The government borrowed 20 million to compensate slave-owning families, equivalent to 21 billion today, which taxpayers only finished paying off in 2015. The Drax family built the largest slave plantation in Barbados and had another in Jamaica. They were credited with inventing the plantation system used in the Caribbean and the US. Richard Drax inherited Drax Hall, worth 6.3 million in 2017, but claimed he cannot be held responsible. And so this is why I never want to hear ever that there can be no case to be made for paying back any type of reparations, either to individuals or to countries. I actually think that things get messy when you give it to individuals. So I would personally, it's just my point of view, say that the money should go to rebuilding and updating infrastructure and systems in countries that were affected by slavery. I think things could get very messy if you give it to individuals. But if you help to rebuild the countries that were basically pillaged, I think that is a good way of recouping reparations. So, yeah, this is someone who is, their family still owns plantations. So you've got people who are alive who are still, in many ways, reaping the benefits, but they want to say that they can't pay back reparations, or they want to make an argument against it. I don't understand. Sharpie 205. I think they figure Boston is very conservative. Who knows? But just because somebody is a conservative, at the end of the day, they're a conservative, but they're still an American. So does that mean that they're interested in the other royals? Miss September. I guess William and Kate didn't see Hamilton. Obviously not. Cho Sisi, it's like they're going back to the scene of a crime and they believe they will be able to use a charm offensive. They can't seem to charm anyone. They seem to just offend where they want to charm. Jane Commonwealther, is that the Drax Hall plantation? Heard about Drax Hall and Kendall from my grandmother. That may be the one. Maybe the one. All right, so that is that. Over in Montecito, it is becoming a really nice new holiday hotspot. As one article claims, because of Harry and Meghan putting it on the map. And it seems like Montecito has been a quiet little hideaway for some time. But yes, indeed, let's be honest, I think it is Harry and Meghan that's put them on the map, because I'd heard of Santa Barbara, but I hadn't heard specifically of Montecito before Harry and Meghan moved there. And part of the article says the town of Montecito, Spanish for Little Mountain, in Santa Barbara, took off in the gold rush of the mid-19th century. Franciscan monks had arrived from Spain in the late 1700s, looking to convert the indigenous Chumash tribe to Catholicism, and the original Santa Barbara mission still stands. The architectural paradigm for many subsequent builds. In the 1920s, famed architects such as Johnson and George Washington Smith were commissioned to dream up grand estates in the Spanish colonial style as seasonal escapes for deep-pocketed clients, many from the East Coast. So you can see that style in a lot of the homes in the area, even in Harry and Meghan's house as well, which so with approximately 10,000 inhabitants, Montecito is now one of the most affluent corners of the United States. The crowd is a curious mix of celebrities, certainly, but also retired industrialists and their trustafarian offspring, entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, and titans of TV, film, and most recently tech. So, a great crowd to be around, right? So what we're saying. Gail Lewis, good morning to you. It's your 70th birthday. Happy 70th birthday to you. Round of applause for Gail Lewis, please. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Joyce, people knew of Montecito, but it is very quiet there for the wealthy, and they like it that way. Harry and Meghan moving there has made it a little. What did you mean? A little more visible? Yes. Gail Lewis, my daughter's husband live in Montecito. Ooh, give us deets. Have they seen Harry and Meghan yet? Give us all the tea. Oh, Gail Lewis, your children are giving you a trip to Italy as a gift. Amazing. Enjoy. Need any tips for Rome? Let me know. All right. Moving on. Title drama. You know, they have recycled the whole take Harry and Meghan's titles away hoo-ha for the millionth time. The millionth time. And I don't know how many times it has to be said. If they take those titles away, it doesn't make a difference to Harry and Meghan at all. It really doesn't. Maybe on a personal level it does, but in terms of, you know, what their fan base think, well, we don't really care about the royal aspect of their lives anymore. We care about the work that they're doing. So I think the only people it will matter to is the royalists, but ultimately, I think it will make the whole institution look bad, especially if they were to take their titles, but um, leave Andrew with his. And I think it's the reason why also they keep on trying to lump Harry into the same boat as Andrew, and like trying to compare somehow, you know, Harry moving his family away to safety to Andrew shenanigans. I'm starting to think that is what the long game is. If they can somehow manage to convince people that Harry and Andrew sit in the same boat, well, if they were to take Harry's titles away, and Meghan's titles away, then it wouldn't be such a bad thing because, well, he's kind of the same as Andrew. I think it's obviously just vile, but I think that's what the long game is. 'Cause I can't think of any other reason why they would keep trying to um, paint that narrative. But with Charles, the palace, according to Richard, according to Richard Palmer, the palace officials say that no decisions have been taken over the Duke of Edinburgh title. Now, that's the title that was meant to be given to Edward. Edward was promised that title, and it would appear that Charles is being a petty Betty. However, Charlotte could eventually be made the Duchess of Edinburgh. What a way to sow drama in the family. Like you don't want to give your brother the title that he was promised, and then you're kind of giving that title to one of his nieces. It's like they're already dragging this poor young girl into the drama before she's even, you know, turned into an adult. I really do feel sorry for the royal kids, especially the Cambridges kids. But Palmer goes on to say the change in view appears to do with Edward and Sophie not wanting royal titles and duties for their children. it's still not officially ruled out that Edward gets the Edinburgh title or will become clear eventually. I don't think it has anything to do with Edward and Sophie not wanting titles or duties for their children. I think it's just Charles being petty because nobody really even knows who Edward and Sophie's children are. Okay, let's go to comments. Oh, there's some trolls in the chat. Let's get rid of those. Joy, she said that the prices of homes have gone up in Montecito. So if you want to live there, you have to have money. Not just anyone can move there. Yes, and don't you also have to pay quite high property taxes in California? Benjamin, you said, I agree with Richard. Charles lies and lies. Yeah, I mean, he was promised, Edward was promised that title by Philip. So it just seems really petty for him not to give it to him. And there's no reason why he wouldn't have given it to him already, because William and Kate got their titles pretty much straight away. Joyce, there will be the worst decision Charles will make is to take titles away from Harry and Meghan. There is no reason to do so. Harry and Meghan leaving completely is different from Charles, and Charles will not. Yeah, it is completely different. Lightside, you said, I think Charles is living out loud all his dreams for how he wants the monarchy to look. He'll do more, is my guess. So he wants the monarchy to look a mess? Is that his dream? Or maybe in his mind, this is, this is the dream monarchy? Does anybody in that palace know what they're doing? Mental. Okay, so this is a story that had me running late because this just came out in the last hour. A former head of counterterrorism for the Met Police, Neil Basu, had a interview with Kathy Newman about what he described as a disgusting and very real threat towards Meghan and Harry. Said there were many serious, credible threats against Meghan Markle from the far right. And I will play the audio for you so you can hear exactly what he says in full. Give me a moment. But this is just confirmed what we all knew for a long, long time. So here it is.
You were in charge of royal protection. How would you characterize the threats that Meghan and Harry received?
Disgusting and very real. I've talked publicly for many years about the threat of extreme right-wing terrorism in this country. I've often been misquoted as taking my eye off the ball, as though I think that was the biggest threat. I've never called it the biggest threat, but it was the fastest growing. And my wonderful friend and counterpart at MI5 will tell you exactly the same thing. But when I started in CT in 2015,
Counterterrorism.
It was about 6% of our total workload. Certainly when I left 15, 16 months ago, it was over 20% of our workload.
But there were many serious, credible threats against Meghan, were there, emanating from the far right?
Absolutely. If you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, the kind of rhetoric that's online, if you don't know what I know, you would feel under threat all of the time.
So you were convinced that there was a genuine threat to Meghan's life on on more than one occasion, on several occasions?
Absolutely. We had teams investigating it, have been prosecuted for that.
They heard it. They heard it from a person within the British security forces themselves. And this is what the squad have been saying going back years. Credit to Tina and Michelle, who said it out loud first, that Meghan's life was at risk. And a lot of squaddies even didn't like Tina and Michelle saying that, but they called it before anyone. And what do we expect when you have an entire tabloid media in this country, day after day, hundreds and hundreds of articles targeting Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan. and the criticism being as stupid as Meghan wore black nail polish. Meghan's eating avocados and it's fueling the drug cartel in Mexico. Meghan's wedding flowers almost killed Charlotte. And to know that it got worse when Meghan was pregnant. I think that's when a lot of people started to ask, what's going on here? Give me one good reason why both Meghan and Harry shouldn't sue for every last penny that they have ever made off of them. Every last penny. What's been done to Meghan, I honestly think it's one of the worst smear campaigns I think I've seen towards any celebrity or any one individual in the press ever. Ever. I will say that with my whole chest. I really can't think of anything that has been more coordinated, more sustained than what I've seen done. And I've seen people being ripped to shreds by the British tabloids my entire life, but this was something else. The sheer volume of articles, the pettiness, the continual churning out of stories, the online bots, all of it together. And the worst part of it all, it would appear, in collaboration with Meghan's own family members, the family that she married into. So I'm glad that someone with an official title finally said it. There are people who have been prosecuted for terror offences, including one neo-Nazi who called Harry a race traitor. What was interesting about that particular individual actually was that he wasn't even British or English. I believe that he was Polish. So not that it would excuse it at all, but I want to know why someone who's not even British or English would feel that strongly about an English prince marrying, a biracial woman. This is clearly somebody who has been so radicalized by the tabloids. And I have no doubt in my mind that there are probably a lot worse things that we don't know about. And then to know, on top of all of that, that they are attempting to stop Harry from paying for security himself, that he has asked to pay for it. He's not asking the British taxpayer to pay for it. He's asking to pay for it. And they're trying to stop him from paying for it. This family has learnt nothing from the Diana years. All right, to your comments before we continue. Yes, Mary. And then Charles abruptly withdrew the security and leaked their location. And there's that also. How could I forget that? Put at risk. Harry was put at risk by his own father. Charles and William and Harry and Meghan and their children's lives in great danger, and that's so sad for a father and a brother to do to one of their own. Yeah. Light side, he's messy. I believe the Queen didn't believe Charles had what it took to lead. He seems petty and irrational. Yes. I'm also thinking about these stories coming out about the Queen's health, and it's making me wonder, when Harry was in, where was it? Was it in Dusseldorf, where he did an interview with the Today Show, and he said, I just want to make sure that the people around, my grandmother, are doing the best for her. And the way the British tabloids had a panic attack when he said those words. I mean, why would you have a panic attack about a grandson saying, "I hope the people around my grandmother are treating her well"? And I feel like there was something in his words, like Harry was saying, trying to say something. Um, and it makes me wonder, you know, has was the Queen actually deteriorating for some time, and they just didn't want it to be public information? Because if that was public information, then we would ask the question, well, who's steering the wheel? If it's not the Queen making these decisions, who is making these decisions? To your comment. Sorry. Lottie says Charlotte may not want the title when she's older. She may want to move away and make her own life. Who knows? She might just marry a person of color. Well, whatever Charlotte chooses to do, or whoever she chooses to date, marry, I think that all of the royal children should be given an opportunity to make lives for themselves. But unfortunately, the crown needs puppets for the monarchy to continue and for the crown to be protected. So unfortunately, I think that the royal children, yeah, they might get to go to university as William did, but ultimately they were born to serve the crown. That's the sad thing, unless they break away. A light side of the moon, yes, this is proof that everything Harry and Meghan said in Oprah's interview was 100% correct. Yes, girl, Lewis, Tina and Michelle were right from the start. That's when I became a Scotty for life. Yeah, me too. Yes, Keely, they are not a family, they are a business. Joyce, the situation with Archie in South Africa and the heater has always stayed in my mind. He should have had security with their child and took out everything in that room. Well, it's not just the incident with the heater. There's the strange incident of Meghan's dog's legs being broken. There's this strange incident of the night nurse that got fired in the middle of the night. There was this strange incident of why it got so overcrowded to the point where Meghan had to be moved from the area on their Fiji tour. I haven't seen that happen with a royal in a while. She had to be moved from the area. And also on that same tour, there's this one piece of video footage where Harry, there's a performance going on, and Harry looks like he is scanning the room. Literally, like his eyes are like a sniper. He's not even watching the performance. And his body language in that moment told me a lot. There's been a lot of very mysterious incidences and situations and things, shocking things that we still don't know about. And to be honest, there are some things that I hope we never know about, because I think they would be everything that we know is so vile, and I think for many of us as fans, we personally feel hurt by it. I think there's a lot of things that we don't know, and quite frankly, I hope I never know. I hope whoever did those wrongs will be dealt with. But there's a lot to still come out, I think. I think we've only scratched the surface. Gail, you said, I agree, it's the worst Meg campaign I've ever encountered. I can't believe people don't see it. Yeah. They don't see it because a lot of them have gone along with it. Benjamin, you said he has balls. Well, it does say former head of counterterrorism, so he's probably moved on from that career. Gail Lewis, no wonder Meghan looked so terrified on that forced walk after the Queen died. Yeah, and a lot of people said there was definitely something in the air. Bonnie, you said, how do they think it would go down if an American citizen came to harm? Well, if they have not learned from history, I don't think they're really thinking straight. And they're not even thinking about how it could go down. because God forbid anything happened to Meghan, I think it really would go down. I think Harry would I think Harry would not just burn like every palace down. I think this whole island's gonna sink, to be honest. So they better hope that nothing ever happens to Rachel Meghan Markle. Nothing better happen to her. Mina, you said bad juju is coming their way real soon, and they're gonna wish they hadn't treated Harry and Meghan in the way they did. Yes, the bad juju is already coming. Bad juju is already coming. It's arrived. Right, trying to get to the end of your comments before we go on to the next thing. Cinderella, why was Archie's original night nurse fired on the spot? Was she trying to hurt him? We don't know yet. We have our theories, we just don't know. Alright, so that is that. And yeah, part of the reason a lot of this hate campaign has gone on for so long is because there are agents of terror in the media fueling it. People like this troll right here. This is what being ugly on the inside does to you on the outside. Angela Latrine, who was on Dan Wooten, is another press rat. Do you know, GB News, it's like they have to always have at least 1 or 2 Harry and Meghan segments a week. And they always bring the likes of Angela Latrine on. And this is where a lot of the delusion from royalists come from. And there was someone who rang in to the Jeremy Vine show. And you can look at the expression on this woman's face. I'm going to play the audio right now of the woman who rang in to Jeremy Vine, and this is what she said about Harry and Meghan and the situation with the security. I want you to listen to this because this basically just sums up the delusion of every single royalist. Okay, sorry, I don't. Some of you are saying that you can't hear it. Okay, I'm gonna. Can you not hear it complete? Like you completely can't hear it, or is it just muffled? Because is it just does someone confirm in the chat? Is it because can you not hear it completely, or is it just muffled? It's saying it's muffled. Okay, let me try it again. Let me try it this way. Give me a sec. Okay.
Another question, do you think Harry and Meghan is right that they should be paying more security as well? Well, Meghan should, but Harry needs some help because he's getting hurt by her.
Well, why do people assume that she's some kind of Jezebel? I mean, what is it about Meghan?
Actually, I have spoken to Harry on WhatsApp.
Harry?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Well, that's interesting. I love Prince Harry and I love William. But not me. I know.
Okay, so for those of you that can't hear that rambling fool, basically what so the interviewer says, do you think that Harry and Meghan should get security? And then deluded Josephine says Harry should get security, but not Meghan. She should have to pay for it. And that Meghan is manipulating Harry. Harry needs help. And then the other interviewer, the gentleman says, you know, where is this coming from that you think that Meghan is some kind of Jezebel? And then the woman says, I've spoken to Harry on WhatsApp. That's what she says. She says, I've spoken to Harry on WhatsApp. Somehow Josephine, from goodness knows where, has Harry's WhatsApp number. Like, and you can see that is why the woman on the screen has like such a screw face, because she's like, what? Are you okay? But do you know what? This woman is sitting there, she's looking confused. But excuse me, lady, it's talk shows like Jeremy Vine that have Angela Latrine on that create this environment where people like Miss Josephine, who I think just actually might be Angela putting on a fake voice, where they think where they start to believe these wackadoo narratives about Harry being held a hostage and Harry is miserable and Meghan is making Harry's life miserable. And this woman actually believes that she has Harry's WhatsApp number. And we can laugh at that and say, do you know what, she sounds cray-cray? But this can lead into a very, very dangerous place and to very dangerous fan obsession. And I don't know if any of you in the chat, comment below if you do know about the Bjork stalker. The Bjork stalker trigger warning, if you've never looked into it, I'm just going to say, if you go looking for it, prepare to be triggered, was probably one of the most I don't even know if weird is the word, but it's the only word that's coming to my mind right now. It was one of the most weird and wackadoo cases of an obsessive fan that I've ever seen. Not only was this man obsessed with her, he went as far as trying to send a bomb in a package to her. He never managed to do it, and he was driven so insane. I think he actually ended up shooting himself, and he shot himself in the head. I think he attempted to get his brain splatterings onto a canvas, and that was like his final art piece, like his final goodbye to Bjork. So, you know, you can listen to someone like Josephine talking about she has Harry's WhatsApp number and laugh, but at the most extreme end, that is where this fan obsession can go, where the person tries to hurt the other person or even ends up hurting themselves because of their obsession. So I don't think this is something to be laughed at. And it's people like Angela Latrine, GB News, and all the other royal rodents, royal reporters that are fueling this very dangerous obsession, and why that former Met officer said that the threat is very real and very dangerous. Because if you're sitting here and you're saying that you believe that you have Harry's WhatsApp number, I have never heard a Scotty say anything so ridiculous ever. So I actually hope that they took a note of that woman's number, or somebody in the Met Police is saying, can you please give us that woman's number, please? Somebody needs to check her out. And I'll never forget when Meghan went to her baby shower in New York. There was that crazy woman who shouted out Charlotte and Duchess. So that woman knew that Meghan was going to be there. She showed up just to shout out Charlotte and Duchess. And can you imagine if that woman was really crazy? Could have had a weapon, goodness knows what. So the threat has been real for some time. And I'm glad somebody official has finally said it so we don't all look crazy. And with that, I think I'm done with all of the other stories and we will end with a discussion about archetypes. I'll go to your comments first before we end with that. Hammer. As if Harry would speak with this troll and he has Meghan. Yeah, people are just weird. During the Twilight era, there was a pocket of deranged Twilight fans who they insisted that Kirsten Stewart and Robert Pattinson had a secret baby, and that when Robert Pattinson started dating FKA Twigs, another woman of color, dating quite a prominent and well-known, probably one of the most popular actors at the time, also a white Englishman, they started attacking FKA Twigs, and horrible things were written about her. So you've seen it many, many times with celebrities, how obsessive people can get and how they can just come up with the most wackadoo narratives. That Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart had a baby secretly, and that FKA Twigs was a Jezebel taking Robert away. Mental. Only Harry needs to put out another statement to these people where he stands. I think the statement might likely come in the book. That to be seen. But Harry has said in the Me You Can't See, they won't stop until she's dead. So he has made a pretty strong statement, because how much strong of a statement can you make other than they won't stop until she's dead? I think that was the second statement. Okay, so that's all about that. And then, right, let's get on to Archetypes. The finale. The Archetypes finale. Manifesting a cultural shift with Trevor Noah, Andy Cohen, and Judd Apatow. What a brilliant idea to end this series and open up the platform to 3 men. Because all of these archetypes that we've been talking about, they cannot disappear. They cannot be done away with. We cannot change and shift the narratives and the culture if men are not part of the conversation. If men do not become allies to this progress. So I think that this was a brilliant way to end the series. Completely left field. Did not expect this at all. Great conversations from all of the men and also the additional speakers. But I want to focus specifically on Trevor Noah and Andy Cohen, because I think their segments were the most interesting and the most talked about. First of all, Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen, TV producer of the Real Housewives series. And you either love Real Housewives or you hate it. And what I loved about Meghan's conversation with Andy Cohen was that she did push him a little. She did question him on whether or not his show really does empower women or whether or not it reinforces stereotypes. She went as far as to actually include a clip of her friend and feminist activist Gloria Steinem calling the show a minstrel show of women. She also included another clip of Roxane Gay, another prominent feminist voice, who said that she felt the show was empowering. Now, I do think sometimes with feminism, we talk about it in a very monolithic way. There were different waves of feminism. Gloria Steinem came in that very early second wave, right? Whereas Roxane Gay is more of a, fourth wave, kind of more uh, far liberal leaning feminism. So it's not surprising then that the two women see the show very differently. And it's therefore not surprising that different women view the show differently. Me personally, I have to say that I agree with Gloria. I don't think it's a particularly empowering show. I think that it has done a lot of damage, particularly to the image of Black women. Having said that, in the very early days, particularly the Atlanta series, I was a viewer. I couldn't take my eyes away because let's be honest, a lot of us do get sucked into that um, train wreck TV. But upon reflection, I feel that it actually wasn't empowering. But what I loved about her segment with Andy was that she did open up the floor to both points of view, and why some people watch it and they find it very empowering, and why some people watch it and they don't find it very empowering. And I love that she very fairly questioned him on that. So people can make their own minds up about that, but that was a very interesting conversation. And then the conversation with Trevor Noah, and he talked about his experience growing up in South Africa, violence against women there, and he said something that, I'm gonna like write down in a notebook. He said, a Black woman and a Black man can be walking down the street, and they'll both have stones at them thrown in the street, but the Black woman will have stones at her, stones thrown at her in the home. And it is this double whammy, I think, when you are a Black woman, when we experience misogyny from the wider society, racism from the wider society, but also we can also be subject to misogynoir from within the Black community. So it was a very interesting conversation, and they also talked. Trevor also talked about a lot of the women on his show, and how having people from different perspectives creates a more full show, and just like a more fair team, and you have a wider perspective um, when you do these creative projects. So I'd love to hear what you all thought of the episode, what you all thought of the final choice for this episode. And Meghan had also said that it was actually Harry that encouraged her to include men in the final episode. So Harry giving production notes. We love to hear it. Great. Gail Lewis. I enjoyed Trevor, and her ending was brilliant. With all those words about being a seed, she was letting the British media and royal family know they haven't buried her. Yes. And one of the final things that she said, thank you so much for bringing that up, Gail Lewis, was she ended the podcast by saying, "What didn't you do to bury me? But you forgot that I was a seed." I actually had the wind knocked out of me when I heard that because I think we all know what she meant when she said that. And Meghan just has a very classy way of standing her ground. Definitely a better woman than me. Because I think that I would have said that in a very different way. But she kept it classy at the end there. All right, let's go through some of your other comments. Chosen to be here, she said, Trevor is amazing. He's going to be an awesome husband and father. I think so too. A light side. Maybe this episode was a preview to season 2. Hint, hint. I think so as well. Julia Rock. I haven't heard this episode, but my favorite episode was the one with Margaret Cho. Was that the one on stereotypes about Asian women. You know, one of the things that Meghan actually said in this episode was even if she hadn't lived all of the experiences of all the women that came on, there was still some relatability there. And I think overall, it has opened up a lot of very important conversations. And that's what these shows, when they're impactful, what they're meant to do. Shelley, you agree that it is a minstrel show. Well, I'm so glad that Meghan opened up the floor to that side of the aisle and allowed that point of view to be expressed. Jackie, I'd love to see Trevor and Meghan together in a video interview. So would I. Hi, Thrive and Stride. We're just finishing from the replay gang, but happy to have you here. Cecile, you said each time I listen to Archetypes, the current episode knocks the prior episode out of the favorite spot. Each has been my favorite as it played and during the ensuing hours until the next one. Yes. All right. That is pretty much all I had to say. Thank you so much. We've missed 1 hour of England versus Wales. does anybody know what the score is? So I'm gonna go watch the match, and then I'm gonna go study for my judo examination tomorrow. I think I have like an 80% chance of passing. Like I said yesterday or the day before, I feel like I know everything. It's just I haven't been going long enough to perfect my move. But fingers crossed. Thank you all for your well wishes, and we'll see how it goes. And very sad to say that that is indeed the end of Archetypes, or at least this season. So we'll see what comes next. Whatever it will be, I'm sure it will be wonderful. It has been a massive success, so no doubt in my mind that Spotify will want more. And well done, Squaddies, for supporting. But ultimately, this podcast would not be successful just with Squaddies listening. It has definitely gone beyond just the squad and royal listeners, and you can see just by the international appeal that it has had. So very exciting, and yeah, I believe it's today that Meghan is going for her private dinner. Yes, but press are not allowed inside. So hopefully we will get at least some official photos by tomorrow. So we will be waiting for those. Hopefully we'll see those by tomorrow, and we can have a podcast and a chat about that if we see any photos and videos. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. Everyone go and enjoy the match, and I will see you all tomorrow. Ciao.
I used to spend my evenings by myself, went through every number on my telephone. I thought that all I needed was someone to hold, but I was wrong. I never thought that maybe I needed a friend. You have always been there together till the end. I thought that all I needed was someone to hold, but I was wrong. Finding love ended in disaster. No such thing as happily ever after love. such thing as happily ever after. Love ended in disaster, disaster. And now I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me. I'm gonna be free, be free. I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me. I'm gonna be free, be free.
People should expect the real me in this, and probably the me that they've never gotten to know, certainly not in the past few years, where everything is through the lens of the media, as opposed to, hey, it's me. I'm just excited to be myself and talk and be unfiltered, and yeah, it's fun.